primary job is with my family. This is secondary. This is all secondary. Your primary job is with your family, your toughest audience. And in this regard, the last thing I will share with you is a little bit of practical advice, especially for the younger brothers and sisters here that have horrible relationships with their parents. Let me tell you something about that. If you have a bad relationship with your parents, that is the easiest ticket to hellfire. Easiest ticket to hellfire. You cannot afford a bad relationship with your parents. You cannot come and say to me, I haven't talked to my dad in a few months, or we don't really talk about much, because if the conversation goes on for more than 2 minutes, he starts criticizing me for everything that I do, and I can't take it anymore. And let me tell you why that happens too. Why does he blow up every time he talks to you? And why does your mom just completely unleash upon you the moment you walk into the house? Why are they so critical? What did they eat for lunch? Why are they so critical? I want to let you know. When you were little, I told you this yesterday. When you were little, you wanted their attention all the time. But when you got older, what happens? They want your attention, but you got other things to do. You never give them any time. And when you don't give them time, they miss you at first. They're sad at first, but then they get angry. First they're sad, but then they get angry. My child, my son, my daughter doesn't give me any time. And in their head, the anger is building and building and building and building. And then they see you walk by, Assalamu alaikum, and you walk by. And you don't even wait for the wa alaikum assalam. You don't even wait for it. And they get even angrier and angrier. And in their head, there are so many things they want to say to you, but they have no opportunity to say them to you. So they see you for 10 seconds, and what do? They explode. They explode on you. You know how many things you haven't done? This. You're like, where did this come from? Have you been memorizing a list? How does this is not spontaneous. You must be building this in your mind for a while. And yes, they have been. And you could have avoided all of that just by calling them every day. Just by spending 5 minutes with them every day. Just by saying, how are you doing? This is what I did today. They don't have to control your life. They just want to know what you're doing. This is where I'm going. This is what I did. This is what I'm going to do. You know, this was good, this was bad. And they might have input about it that you may or may not like, but listen to it anyway. It's okay. Listen to them. Give them time. And don't make them feel like they're useless. Don't make them feel like, yeah, sure, okay, I gotta go. Not like that. Make them feel important. You have to be the best to them. وَقُلْ لَهُمَا قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا. Speak to them with noble speech, respectful speech. That's how you should be with your parents. But to kill that rift, the other practical piece of advice that I wanted to give you, not just giving time to your parents or your spouse, but the additional thing that I wanted to say to you, is do stuff for them. Do things for them. The more religious they see you become, they notice that you're more cut apart from the family. And they start blaming what for you being cut apart? Not you, but the religion. The more religious you become, the more of service you should be. You should do the groceries even more. You should mow the lawn before they ask. You should vacuum before they ask. You should buy your mother flowers spontaneously. You should do more and more and more for the family the more you turn to the religion, so that they see that this Islam has made my son a better son. This Islam has made my daughter, a better husband, a better wife, a better brother, a better sister, a better neighbor. Islam made them a better person. And I could see it. But the exact opposite is what is going on now. The more religious you get, the more confrontational you get, the more debates you get into, the more arguments you get into. That's the exact opposite effect. Because they will not blame you, they will blame Islam. And when you call them to it, they say, I don't want to be like you. I don't want to be like you. You're nasty. You're mean all the time. And it's probably because you're religious. So I want nothing to do with the religion. Who turned them away from the deen is your own behavior. Your own behavior. All of you sitting in this audience today have an obligation to change your behavior towards your family, to be better than you were yesterday. You have an obligation to do so. You have an obligation to do so, because this is the means by which we save our family. This is my last comment. I promise I'm done. Why should we make this kind of effort? Why bother to grow the thick skin? Why bother to put up with all of these insults and still be connected with our family and try to give them da'wah in the softest way possible? Why should we even bother? Listen to me. Even if you have a brother that you had a fight with, that you had some dispute about inheritance or whatever else, and you don't like talking to him, if you hear he got diagnosed with cancer, you'll call. If you hear he got into a car accident, you will call. You'll forget all of the fights of the past and you'll call anyway. You'll show up to the ER anyway, because blood is blood. Blood is blood. I have 10 minutes or 3 minutes? Okay, that's perfect. Okay, now tell me, when we don't give our family da'wah, we have become content with them heading towards destruction. You know the famous ayah, it's quoted all the time. In this seminar, I bet you at least 24 times this ayah was mentioned. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. Those of you who claim to believe, save yourselves and your families from hellfire. But Allah didn't stop there. First you hear that, you say, yeah, I really should make an effort to save my family from the hellfire, because that's pretty serious. But then you lose motivation. So Allah motivates you again. Same ayah. He says, وَقُودُهَا النَّاسُ وَالْحِجَارَةِ. Its fuel, it is fueled by people and stones. Another description of fire. You read that and you say, I better get serious about da'wah to my family again. But then you get rusty after a while. You come back to the ayah, it warns you again. عَلَيْهَا مَلَائِكَةٌ غِلَاظٌ شِدَادٌ. Upon that hellfire are in severe guards, angels, that are very tough and very intense in how they execute the punishment. Now imagine your family being in a situation where there are people torturing them. And Allah is letting you know they will be. And they will not back off, and they will not care about the crying or the screaming. لا يعصون الله ما أمرهم. They do not disobey Allah in whatever Allah commanded them. Allah commanded them to torture, and they will torture. And the ayah is not about the kuffar, it's about your family. If you care about your family, you will never get lazy about da'wah to them. You will always be thinking, how can I get something across to them? If this didn't work, that might work. If that didn't work, that might work. If that didn't work, something else might work. You're trying to get something through to them. And if it's not your speech, it may be something else. You know, I have family that told me, Nouman, I know some people listen to you, but I don't. And no matter what you say, you're wrong, so don't bother. Right? Family will tell you that. And I'll say, okay. And I'll put somebody else's CD on in the car. They might listen to something from someone else. So if one thing doesn't work, you try something else. It doesn't have to be, well, I already gave them da'wah, it didn't work. That's not exactly what we learned from Nuh alayhi salam, is it? That's not exactly what we learned from Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, is it? That I let them know, there's an akhirah, they didn't believe. I went up and made the announcement, and I told them that they're going to be brought back to life, and they laughed it off and they left. I guess I should just go to Taif now. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. You cannot give up on your family. You have to take that responsibility. You have to learn the religion properly so you can communicate it properly. And again, the best way to communicate your da'wah to your family is you become the reason for which the family remains united. You are the source of counsel and help. You are there no matter what. No matter how bad they are to you, you are still the best to them. Because you're not the best to them, because it's not tit for tat. You're not doing it for them. You're doing it for Allah. You're not expecting back from them. May Allah make us of those who are the best families. May Allah make us of those who are able to effectively carry da'wah to their families. May Allah make us of those who are able to soften, that through their words and sincerity, Allah softens the hearts of their families that have become hard and have become tough. You know, like one of my good friends, very close friends, his mom was father is Muslim, mom is non-Muslim, and she's been non-Muslim for 22 years, and she took Shahada 2 months ago. He's been doing da'wah for 22 years to his mother, and she took Shahada 2 months ago. Take that as inspiration, inshallah ta'ala. May Allah Azza wa Jal protect all of us and our families from the hellfire. Barakallahu li wa lakum fil Qur'an al-Hakim, wa nafa'ni wa iyyakum bil ayat wa dhikr al-Hakim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.